Global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Global Happiness today. Much as those who love Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have been praying for his release, even those who seem to hate him beyond reasonable doubt are also praying for his release, and they have their reasons for doing that. In fact, they probably want him out more easily and more quickly so that they can consummate what they have in stock for him than they want him even in detention. In a moment, you're going to find out what, who, and how they want it done. I'd like you to subscribe to our channel before we do that by clicking on the red subscribe button beside it. You see a bell notification icon. Please go ahead, click on it to get notified as soon as you update our channel on YouTube. Well, according to the news, Uche for Mefor, the enshrined deputy leader of the indigenous people of Biafra (IPOB), on Thursday said he wants Nnamdi Kanu, the detained leader of the group, that's IPOB, released by the Nigerian authorities so that he can see the effect of the violence, horror, and terror that he initiated. Well, report had it that Mefor berated the indigenous people of Biafra IPOB members for protecting their own human rights but violating other people's rights as well. He demanded that anyone who asks for equity must also go with clean hands. Let me quote him word for word. So, do you see why she or he who goes to equity must do so or go with clean hands? He's asking. He said, but why do the indigenous people of Biafra under Nnamdi Kanu, he calls them IPOC, I don't know what that means, as in IPONK. I have no idea what that means. He said, why do the indigenous people of Biafra under Nnamdi Kanu recognize and protect their human rights, but torture and murder their victims and deny them the enjoyment of their own human rights? Is asking. Let's face facts here, and sentiments apart. There is no doubt that Nnamdi Kanu was tortured and his human rights violated. But why is it that the criminal gangs he inspired unconsciously, brutally target, torture, and murder their victims and deny them the enjoyment of their own human rights? Is asking. Nobody should be denied of his or her human rights justice for Kanu, but what about justice for the victims of the indigenous people of Biafra stroke the Eastern Security Network stroke the unknown gunmen, that's IPOB stroke ESN stroke UGM, who was inspired by Nnamdi Kanu? This is strong. Then he went further. He said, look, if Mefor added, who was initiated by Nnamdi Kanu, I want Kanu to be released to see the effect of those violence, horror, and terror he has initiated on all against all wise counsel. Mefor also concluded by saying, of note, these same human rights violations including that of prohibition of torture, that the indigenous people of Biafra under Nnamdi Kanu IPOB are talking about today, is the same human right that they argued that it did not exist in freedom fighting when it suited them in order to justify their despicable conduct. The same they argued on democracy and used it to try to discredit, lie, and blackmail us by launching the ESN, that's after renaming the volunteers to Eastern Security Network, which went on to assume different names, alliances, and form other networks and alliances to unleash unprecedented systematic human rights violations against other vulnerable Biafrans. Today, the trails they have left behind are that of insecurity as against security that they bragged about. It is horror and terror, it is enforced disappearances, it is extrajudicial killings and targeted assassination of Igbo Biafrans on Biafran soil. In summary, it is incomprehensible, unconscionable, and self-serving that the indigenous people of Biafra under Nnamdi Kanu IPOB, that's in the indigenous people of Biafra IPOB, talks of human rights when it affects them, but not when it concerns other people. Now you've heard why he wants Mazi Nnamdi Kanu out. Not really because it's so much love or so much bad blood, but to him, he wants him to come out and see, according to him, the mayhem. His words have ignited in Igbo land, called it Biafra land, and let him probably see how he can control and stop. Let him see. But then there's something he said that caught my attention. He said it is not in doubt that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu went through torture, which means even to a great extent, even those who don't like him, those who don't believe in him, those who don't trust him, those who don't believe in his movement, those who don't even like his gods and his ways, totally agree that he indeed went through torture. Why is everybody keeping quiet about it? Just these lawyers that are talking about it? Every other person or those involved are turning blind eye towards it. Now, if he believes that indeed he went through torture, why can't they allow him enjoy his human rights, as it is being said? And that's why you see the likes of his special counsel, that's Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's special counsel, is insisting that they should return him back to the last state where it is assumed Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is still very much in Kenya. But one thing is certain, this whole sit-at-home thing is all surrounding around Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. I still believe that there's still great room for Southeast to improve, not just to improve, but also become one beautiful region as it used to be. And that involves stakeholders meeting. If Uche Mefor believes that it has to do with inciting words being made by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, don't you also think, personal opinion, that same Mazi Nnamdi Kanu who quote and unquote made inciting words can also undo those inciting words when he is released? Could it be that's why there was some sort of dialogue and negotiation with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu so that, quote and unquote, when he goes out there, he's the only one that can actually talk to his guys. They follow him with their life. So if you can make him promise, I don't see that happening. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu natural, if you see him, he doesn't look like somebody who would talk gently and who would talk nicely. He looks like someone when he's out, he may even do worse. As when he was not even jailed, when he was not captured, he was talking. Now that he has been captured, tortured, dehumanized, his human rights abused, you think when he leaves the country that he will now begin to say Nigeria is great again? I don't see it coming. But whatever, let's see how it plays out. Let's meet in a